At this time, we'd like to go to building permits 7, 8, and 9, please.
4A7, High Point Gas Transmission Company, application number 2017-435, dated June 14, 2017. Remove and replace existing valves and install 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch blind flanges at sites 5, 5.5, 6, 7, and 8, and to cut and cap 20-inch pipeline at Site 5, Lake Washington, in northwest of Bayou Shin area. Councilmember Bartholomew. Number 8, High Point Gas Transmission Company, application number 2017-437, dated June 14, 2017. Cut and cap 20-inch pipeline and abandon in place. Install new valves and piping at Site 12 between Bayou Ponton and Lost Flat Bay. Councilmember Bartholomew. And number 9, High Point Gas Transmission Company, application number 2017-438, dated June 14, 2017. Abandon in place 16-inch tie-in pipeline, replace existing meter skid with new meter, remove and replace existing valves at the Venice plant. Abandon in place a 10-inch pipeline at Site 1, remove and replace valves at Site 1, 2, and 3, and remove existing 22-inch valve below the water and modify pipeline and platform to install above water at Site 4, Venice Plant Bay, Jacques, Yellow Cotton Bay, Palm d'Or area. Councilmember Bartholomew.
I offer, ask for a second. Been second. Councilman Ashcombe. Any questions from the table? Audie? Yes, Ms. Sullivan.
My question is to permit. Has everything been properly vetted on number 7? Okay. Thank you.
Machine is open. Seven with one abstention. This time we will vote to 6G at the request of Councilman Black. 6G.
An ordinance to amend the 2017 Firefighting Fund Manpower Structure and Operating Expenditure Budget, Firefighting Department, and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Offer with changes.
Councilman Black offer with changes. Pass those out. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Burt. Councilman Black.
Yeah, the changes on line 20. It should now read N1 full-time fire captain position. On line 23, scratch out 37,840 and put 60,950. On line 30, scratch out 27,000, amended to 43,160. Line 32, scratch out 390, add 620. Line 33, scratch out 3510, add in 5610. Line 34, scratch out 6940, add 11560. Line 41, add firefighting general, 1 fire captain, 4707-160-02. Line 42, firefighting general, 1 fire lieutenant, 470-7170-01. 43, firefighting general, 1 fire lieutenant, 470-7170-05. This all comes out of funding for firefighting fund, so it's not general fund, and the money is there.
My question is, does that comes from the money appropriated for the Woodlawn Firehouse?
That comes from the money that was, no, that money actually saved the 36 jobs a year ago.
Not all of it.
This money's in the
Well, my
firefighting
question
fund.
is, finance, did that money come out of the $2 million something else left out of for the volunteer fire department?
There's $654,000 remaining in the unreserved and designated for the firefighting fund, and that's where this money would come from.
Or what about the fire department? Woodlawn, how much you have in there?
right here. In the 2017 budget, there was 1,947,000.
It's left?
No, that's what we had budgeted. You want to know how much is left?
Yeah.
Flip reports real quick. $1,672,000.
Okay, thank you. That's from $4 million that was appropriated early. 1 million something left. Okay, thank you. Councilman Black?
That's all I have.
Okay, anybody have questions from the table? Audience? Machine is open. Eight one.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind while the chief's still here, there's only one more item on that, which is item F. It's the same, a similar thing for firefighters. You want to knock that one out too? F? F, sir.
An ordinance to amend the 2017 firefighting fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, firefighting department, and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Offer.
Second by Mr. Roussel.
This
Councilman
is-
Black.
Yeah, this is at the request of the fire chief to make 4 full-time operators into 4 part-time positions. That's all.
I just have a question. I noticed
Go
that
ahead.
on the breakdown, it's showing the funding for Lake Hermitage and Port Sulphur. I don't see anything for the Bell Chase firefighters. So what's,
Ma'am, that's just where the openings are. We use them, in fact, we've talked to finance
Yeah.
about combining everybody parish-wide
You just bring in
in next
where
year's
it-
budget.
okay,
It's just where the openings were.
okay.
That was just replacements?
It's the, actually, this here's gonna save us money because it's gonna cut down on the overtime that we're spending now.
So we can put that overtime money we save into Woodlawn Firehouse. Okay,
Whatever you like.
right? All right. I just want to know. Any questions from the table? Any more questions? Audience, machine is open. I can support that one.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief.
All right. This time, we'll go through the withdrawals, if you don't mind.
We've already did that.
Yes. No. Really, I hadn't planned on doing it till we get to the items, really. 6A. So 6A1 is deferred. 6I is withdrawn. 6N is withdrawn.
6I?
6Q, so don't quit, is deferred. RSTU is deferred. X is deferred. B is deferred. And D is deferred.
Also,
H
okay.
is withdrawn.
No.
Huh?
Which one?
I'm sorry, I got H on here.
got I.
A motion to override the veto ordinance.
That's not withdrawn.
7, I'm sorry. I don't know why that.
I got eyewitness.
I, H-I. I, J, not J, I, K,
And
and L is withdrawn. That's all I have.
And we have also on the item for me, L,
L.
6L, deferred.
6L deferred. 6L deferred. Mr. Roussel. Okay. All right. At this time, we go to item C, bids and advertisement.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Stanifer, Plaquemines Parish Purchasing Agent. I have a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing Promenade 3166 in bulk for a period of 1 year for use by the Mosquito Control Department. After due advertisements, bids were received June 13th from the following: Adapco of Florida, Clark Mosquito Control Products of Illinois, and Target Specialty Products of Houston, Texas. It is my recommendation that we accept the low bid of Target Specialty Products.
I offer. Just second. Second by Mr. Gage Kong.
I got a question.
Question from Mr. Councilman Black.
We got somebody to spray that stuff?
Sir, I only buy the chemicals.
Are we gonna fill the positions, I guess is the question.
I guess the reason why is because if we're gonna spend money to purchase a product, are we gonna have the capability to then go
Well,
ahead and utilize the
On
product?
my side, as soon as the chemical bid expires, we either renew it with the vendor or we go out for another bid to have it always a vital contract in place for when we are ready to spend the money. As far as,
So it's not gonna go bad, in other words.
right, we're not going to
Okay.
buy it. It's going to be
All right,
on
I
an
got it.
as-need basis. But as far as the rest, administration will have to address that.
So are we planning on filling the positions?
We are spraying with the plane and have trucks operating. My position has been public on the other matter, and I don't need to pull up. I won't pull up historical comparisons unless you want, but this is the first time ever that directors' pay by any council historically was ever cut to part-time that I know of.
So the reason we're not gonna hire mosquito truck drivers is because the director's pay was cut.
Because the funding was taken from that source.
So the public's gonna suffer from mosquitoes because of this, okay?
The public's suffering from lack of having full-time. I mean, directors are doing a great job with Tropical Storm Cindy. They did so. It's unequitable, and unjust that they're working at part-time pay. No, this has never happened before. Going back to the days of, I think, from President Petrovich on forward.
Any other questions from the table? Audience?
Yes. How much we paying for this? You gotta let the people know, you know.
Mr. Henry, when we actually buy it, we buy it in a tote of 275 gallons, and it's $21,433.50 per tote.
Thank you.
On a
President, I agree with you.
Thank you,
Machine?
thank you, Mr. Henry.
Anybody else? Not, the machine is open. Passes 9-0.
Thank you. Y'all have
At
a good
this time,
evening.
we'll revert to the president's comments, report, or status report at this time.
We've, as stated before, we've been here since it's going on 6:30. I'll be as brief as possible. The effect of Tropical Storm Cindy was, as I stated before, some levee washouts, especially in the Myrtle Grove area. That's the area where Citrus Lands donated those potato ridges and whatnot to us. And we are working diligently to try to fix those washouts. There's been, we've already discussed a contract with DOTD. I want to commend the Plaquemines Parish government employees who have not received a pay raise in 3 years for their hard efforts, sandbagging and securing our parish during Tropical Storm Cindy. Without their hard work and efforts, we could have had some worse damage. And I also want to commend Plaquemines Parish Sheriff's Office for assisting us with sandbagging operations. I want to commend the council and my father's administration for investing in infrastructure. I'm specifically referring to the levees on the East Bank. We came uncomfortably close. We had no topping, and there were no breaches. But for your investment on that levee system on the East Bank, we would have had, I think, some overtopping. So I commend this council and also commend my father's administration for investing there in our parish. On biggest issue we have right now, and I've told a few of you and to tell the public, the core regulatory branch back in, I think it was 2012, during the Nungas administration, they approved the purchasing of over $7 million of wetland mitigation credits on Chef Matur in New Orleans. They just recently issued environmental assessment number 543, and that's regarding the NOV NFL levee projects. This was the same area as the REACH B2 projects. Amazingly, the core environmental branch has taken a different position, and environmental assessment number 543 that was issued does not include our over $7 million of wetland mitigation credits as an option to mitigate these levee projects. Now that is a tremendous reversal, not just because now that means we're losing out on $7 million of mitigation credits. It's also very alarming from the standpoint, and I made this message clear to the Colonel, they want us in their environmental assessment to assume the cost of, one, operating and maintaining the brackish marsh mitigation bank, credits on our own, PPG. The good thing about the mitigation bank option, and the reason why the Corps usually favors the mitigation bank option, is because if something goes wrong, such as a hurricane hits and the marsh is destroyed or the marsh is degraded, then the bank has to come up with the money to fix the marsh. The reason why we're fighting so hard, and we have the help, assistance of our Plaquemines Parish Port Harbor and Terminal District Director, Sandy Sanders. We're going to be going up to Vicksburg and taking it up to the next level, Major General Weir, and if we don't get a different result there, we're going to D.C. This is crucial because, as we know, these future operations and maintenance costs, and the Corps itself, environmental branch, said we will have to maintain these mitigation areas in perpetuity, forever. And those costs could be astronomical, in my opinion, could bankrupt this parish. So we're going to continue battling on that front. We have a unified front from the standpoint of PPG and the port, and we're going to go up there and do the best we can. And I really think we have a good position because the WRDA bill 2016 does not define watershed, and the Corps is trying to take a different definition of watershed on the regulatory side than what they're doing on the environmental side. And with that, given the late hour, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.
Next, please.
Number 3, beer and liquor licenses.
None. Councilman Black, none. I have none.
I have one.
Mr. Juno has one.
I got a special event type AB and light wine, 3-day permit for Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church Parish Fair on October 27th, 28th, and 29th, 2017, with rain dates of November 3, 4, and 5, 2/17 if needed. Thank you.
Mr. Burke, do I have him and solve that?
Dollar General Store number 10841, 26715, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
Mr. H-Com? No, sir. Ms. Williams?
Yes, I have one special event. It's for the Empire South Pass Tarpon Rodeo to host their annual rodeo August 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Empire Harbor from 12 a.m. on the 3rd to 7 p.m. on the 5th. Oh, I need to sign it.
Yeah, an offer?
And I have one more.
Okay.
It's for OLPH again. It's for fundraiser for OLPH Church and School Community. It's at 8968 Highway 23, Belchester, Louisiana. Father Dave Kyle, pastor. It's for the various gaming of TJ's, bingos, and the different games, raffles, and pull tabs that they sell at the fair.
Offered by Mr. Williams, seconded by Councilman Juneau. Questions from the table? Audience, the machine is open. Seven zero. Passes.
Number 4, building permits. The following will be taken in globo. 4A1, Gulf South Pipeline Company, LP, application number 2017-251, dated March 29, 2017. Install casing sleeve on index 293-4 and 293-8 pipelines, West Point and LaHash, Councilmember Trufant Salvant. Number 2, Hillcore Energy Company, application number 2017-407, dated June 1, 2017. Install piling walls to construct boat pen and install support platform, Lake Grand Eclay area, Councilmember Edgecombe. Number 3, Chevron Pipeline Company, application number 2017-431, dated June 14, 2017. Remove a portion of an existing 10-inch pipeline, and the remaining portion will be abandoned in place north of North Pass, Breton Sound Main Pass area, Councilmember Bartholomew. Number 4, Upstream Exploration, LLC, application number 2017-150, dated February 24, 2017. Install 6-inch oil sales line, East Cox Bay Field, Councilmember Bartholomew. Number 5, Upstream Exploration, LLC, application number 2017-152, dated February 24, 2017. Install 6-inch oil sales line, East Cox Bay Field, Councilmember Bartholomew. Number 6, Craig Clausen, application number 2017-934, dated June 14, 2017. Install pilings and a 2-slip boat shed with dock, 702 Martin Lane, Happy Jack, Councilmember Trufant Salvant. Number 10, Dimension Energy Company, LLC, application number 2017-439, dated June 14, 2017. Wheel wash, install pile clusters, drill the R.F. Price et al. Well number 17, and install well protection structure, Grand Bay, Councilmember Bartholomew. Number 11, IG Petroleum, application number 2017-448, dated June 20, 2017. Install protection barge and shell pad at the existing WD-84 facility, West Delta Area Block 84, Councilmember Williams. Number 12, the Louisiana Fruit Company, application number 2017-450, dated June 21, 2017. Dredge portion of Tiger Pass and Canal number 1, Councilmember Williams. Number 13, Whitney Oil and Gas, LLC, application number 2017-459, dated June 26, 2017. Install 10-inch pipeline, South Pass Area Block 28, Councilmember Williams. And number 14, IMT, application number 2017-468, dated June 29, 2017. Emergency maintenance dredging at existing ship dock 18559 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Councilmember Trufant Salvant.
I offer an extra second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Juneau. Permitting, everything is good to go and everything. Questions from the table? Audience, machine is open. Six, one. It passes.
I'm going to defer the next one on the agenda, B.
B is deferred. C, D, E, F, and G, can we do in global?
No, we cannot.
Okay. Which one you want to take out?
Take C out.
Take C out. Let's go with C, and we do the rest in global.
Okay. D, Tetra Technologies Trailer, residents in a floodplain zoning district, 427 McDermott Road, Venice, Louisiana, Councilmember Williams. E, Marsh Harbor LLC Boat Shed in a floodplain district, 33493 Highway 23, Empire, Louisiana. It's going to be Councilmember Bartholomew. F, P&M Fireworks Paul Tozan Fireworks Stand Renewal, new location 8498 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Councilmember Lapine. And Shady Oaks Trailer Park, Frank Daigle, conditional approval for one additional space, Shady Oaks Lane, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Councilmember Edgecombe.
I offer, Councilman Edgecombe, second. Any questions from the table? Audience? Permit, we good to go. The machine is open. It passes 8-0. C,
Bernard and Aurora Pacone, third trailer residence, 29569 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Councilmember Trufant Salvant.
Solvent,
Yes, I want to have a discussion.
you offer for discussion or you
Yeah,
off?
I'm going to offer for discussion, then eventually take a vote.
Okay. Seconded by Councilman Edgecombe. Ms. Solvent.
Yes, Mr. Bernard Pacone came to my office with a matter regarding a third trailer that he wanted to put on his property. Okay, and that was an issue immediately. That became an issue with the neighbor, the adjoining neighbor, Miss Patty Vogt. She had some comments and concerns about him placing the third trailers and several other issues. Okay, and I referred them to the permit office. And I had a conversation with a young lady in the permit department, and I told her I did not want this permit to come before the council until these matters were resolved. For some reason, my request was ignored and it was placed on the agenda. So and I thought the only way we can have this matter cleared is that I invited Ms. Pacone and Ms. Vogt here today and to kind of bring the issues before this council, and hopefully, Mr. Metcalf, that you may be able to bring some resolution.
First off, Councilmember Savant, I don't think your request was ignored purposely. If there was some misunderstanding, this is the first time I'm hearing this, that you requested that this not come. I did send, after receiving the letter from the concerned neighbor, I did send an inspector to the location. I did not find, and neither did the inspector who had visited the site, that he proofed out any of the claims that were made by the neighbor. However, those were our observations. We have pictures. We've made our observations. We're ready to discuss them if you'd like. But I make it clear, the permit, this is an application, and naturally nothing has been approved yet. We, of course, don't support or urge for approval here. It's simply an application.
Right. And I agree with all of that, but I was hoping that we could have resolved it before it came to the council meeting, before it made it to the agenda. But for some reason, my request was ignored, so I'm going to ask.
Again, I want to assure you, Councilmember, it wasn't ignored. Now, if there's some misunderstanding, I apologize. This is the first time I'm hearing it. I wasn't aware of your request. Of course, you're free to defer it. There are some problems that the neighbor apparently has that we can't substantiate, such as property lines and things like that. I was hoping, quite frankly, that the applicant would be here.
He is. He's here.
Okay.
I have a current survey.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. And I apologize. I didn't know you were here, sir. I apologize.
Come to the mic, Mr. Pacone.
My name is Bernard Pacone. I live at 117 Irma's Lane in the Devant. Other words, I have a current survey like you asked for, and it shows the place of the trailer, and I am not on her property, which she raised the concern that I was on her property. So, that's the only thing I was asked for.
Well, and I'm glad to hear you have a survey. It will be very helpful to us. We don't have one on file. So
well, he told Mr.
So we'd
Buck
like
told me he did email it to both officers.
Right, as soon as you might be able to.
It's it's got a stamp and everything.
Great, we'd love to have a copy of it for the file.
Okay.
Thank you.
But that's what I was asked for, and that's what I got, so.
Now, the other issues, I can tell you, once again, I have pictures, and it would, I don't speak with 100% certainty as to each one of the neighbors' issues, but we didn't, things such as water standing underneath the trailer. I have a picture of the underneath area of the trailer. It's dry as a bone, and this was during a rainy period. Sewer running onto the neighbor's property. We didn't observe any of those things.
Okay.
So again, I apologize if there was a misunderstanding, but we did go out and check the issues. So.
Okay, and I didn't mean to bring these folks here to sabotage you and make you look look in a different light, but I couldn't resolve the matter. Okay, so I wanted it to, Ms. Vogt suggested that if it, I had assured her that we was going to try and clear the matter within my office. But then after whomever in the permit department had made sure it reached the council agenda, well, I had issues with that. So,
well, and
I promised Ms. Vogt that if it would make it to the agenda, I would allow her to come in and state her piece. And so, Ms. Vogt, you can proceed.
Okay, my name's Patty Vogt. I live at 28933 Highway 23, Port Sulphur. Okay, my property adjoins Mr. Picayune's property. He bought 523 feet long on one side and 500 feet on the opposite side. I own the property adjacent to him in the front, from Highway 11 to his property. Okay? And I own on the upper side of the property that he bought. I own all of that. I have no problem with him putting 2 trailers in there. Not a problem. But my concern is the sewer's in the ditch. I got photos for y'all to look at. Mr. Paul with the health department came down there to my place. I drove him down there in my little Kawasaki Mule, and we drove in the sewer. And I got proof. Right here. Okay? It's running out of a 4-inch pipe into the ditch in front of my property, coming off the treatment plant, which wasn't working at the time. This is the treatment plant. Mr. Paul from the health department asked Mr. Picayune about the chlorine tablets to put in the tank. He said he didn't know nothing about it. Mr. Paul asked him, is the aerator working? Do you have power? He said, you can't hear it? I said, yeah, we could hear it. And he got a little ugly with Mr. Paul. This is the picture again of the treatment plant. Okay. He didn't have the current survey filed with the permit office in Port Sulphur when I went up there. There was no survey. He just recently got this. Now, I don't know if they went down and put more stakes up or what. The survey that I had is from before Katrina, and this is my boundary pipe with a 3/4 inch galvanized pipe underneath there, done by Mr. McCurdy, before Katrina. Okay? I received a letter from the permit department to inform me that he was going to put a 3rd trailer. He already has one hooked up, the first one, that has power and people living in there. He installed the 2nd trailer, blocked and anchored, with no permit. He's repairing the 2nd trailer right now with power from the 1st trailer. How could he apply for a 3rd trailer when he don't have the 2nd one approved? And I don't follow this. How can you put 3 trailers on 500 feet of land?
Can the permit department respond to these comments?
That's the zoning part. According to the zoning ordinance, in the A2 zoning district, which is Mr. Picone, any trailer, as long as you have 5,000 square feet of property, you're allowed to place up to 4. The first 2 are outright permitted, which is 10,000. Mr. Picone has 56,118 square foot of property, which would allow him to even be able to establish a trailer park if he comes in to rezone. So the first two are outright permitted, and the third and the fourth would have to be granted by the council as long as he has the appropriate square footage of land, and he does.
Can I say something? In other words, this man surveyed it, Miss Patty. That's the same mark. We have no property between us.
Right.
So it's the mark. I have it right here from Mr. McCurdy, the same one did yours.
All right. When did he survey this?
He did this on that date. That's when it was turned into the parish. Another thing, you cannot prove that was sewage because they never took a water sample.
Well, Mr. Paul did.
No, he did not.
No,
Mr.
Mr. Paul
it
came on the
cannot-
property.
Mr. Paul cannot take off.
Okay.
Did the permit department check the whether or not it was sewage in a drainage canal, in a canal ditch?
Ms. Audrey, and the council, after speaking to Raymond and the health department, he did send Mr. Paul back to the site. When Mr. Paul arrived at the site, he did ask Mr. Piccone about the tablets and the treatment system. From that point on, Mr. Piccone was authorized to pump the tank and then put the tablets into the tank, in which he has done so. From that moment on, the health department said that that is a vital sewer system. And at the time that Mr. Piccone pumped out the tank, it was only like 2 weeks after the structure was installed, which at that point in time, sewer is not even into the system to say that it's pumping sewer out of the system. And this is from the health department.
So my other concern is we got a highway ditch in front of Mr. Piccune's property and my property. He gets a load of blacktop and he dumps it in the ditch. He puts no culvert. And when it rains a lot, you could see part of the blacktop washing away. So he's got the whole drainage from Mr. Turner to his property to mine, and all this is going up to the main outfall ditch, which is on my property, which goes under the road to the drainage canal. So all's coming out of the tank is going in the ditch across the front of my property. So how I'm supposed to cut my grass without driving through his sewer? I can access my property from Highway 11, but he cannot access his property from Highway 11 because I own the front of his property.
Mr. Piccone, we're going to need to get down to the closure
Thing
of
is,
this, but
ma'am, I did not cover the ditch that was there. All I did was put blacktop on top of it. I did not fill in no ditch. I put in a request for the ditch to be dug. Your office did it over a month ago. They haven't done it. It's the right of way. I cannot do it. I'm willing to do whatever the council needs me to do it, but I can't dig the right of way for the water to run.
okay, I'm not authorized to make
I
a call
know,
on
I
this.
understand that.
I need to refer to the permit department on their recommendation, and Mr. Piccone is operating within his rights, or what?
Well, our responsibility to the council and, of course, to the administration is give you the information that's needed for the eventual approval or no vote on the particular issue. I think we've done that. I think we've done our due diligence in inspecting the property and having the health department involved and getting pictures, which I'd be glad to pass out to you guys if you'd like. I think I guess what I'm trying to say is I can't think of anything else that we could supply for the decision-making process. If you, again, if it's something that at this point in time that you require us to somehow get more information on, we can.
But my question is he complying with all of the permitting requirements?
I would have to say, from a permitting perspective, I would have to say yes. I'll let Ms. Rose on the zoning end of it.
On the zoning end, he does have the square footage to, like I said, create a trailer park if he wanted to petition for a map change. The zoning part, he is in compliance.
And there is no, just for the record, there is no requirement that I know of that the installation of the first trailer has to be complete before the third trailer or the fourth trailer can be applied for. So I don't really see where that's a problem either. He's progressing along with the second trailer. It's clearly not finished. He's building the decks. He is using power off of trailer number 1 on the property. But then again, that's not, well, he says he's not, but even if he was, I don't see where that's necessarily a violation either. It's just an extension cord to work on the trailer. So
Okay. Okay, so based on everything that's just transpired here, Ms. Vogt, I don't have any other choice but to move on based on what the permit department has stated here, and according to them, he's in compliance.
For the second trailer, right?
Even for the third, he have the square footage, even if he want to move on the third and the fourth.
But you gonna allow him to put 4 sewer systems in there
No,
for
I'm not
4
going to
trailers?
allow him to do that. The permit department is saying that he can.
If I may, Chairman, but
Yes, Councilman.
And
Mayor,
I think
Mr.
I heard
Chairman.
Mr. Piccone say that he did not put a culvert in, correct?
Right, there was just mud there. There was mud over the ditch, and all I did was put it so when they could come in the trail and I could drive in, I just kept riding on the same thing.
Okay, so Mr. Metcalf, though, wouldn't there be a requirement that there be a culvert there so that we have drainage available in that ditch?
I would think there definitely would be, and that would be the proper situation there. But again, as the applicant said, it's a public right-of-way.
But it's a highway ditch. You can't just come there and plug up a highway ditch.
With Ms. Patty, and you know I didn't plug it up.
Oh, where you dump the blacktop?
On top of the mud, it was
On
already
top of the
covered.
ditch?
It was already covered.
Permit. Hold on.
One last statement about the treatment system. A treatment system isn't designed to dump sewer into a ditch. The water that is coming out is clean and processed water that allows the drainage. That is not sewer water.
Well, I just have one more comment. President Cormier came to my property a week ago on Sunday after church, and he got in my mule and we went down there, and he could tell you what he smelled and what he seen. And it's exactly what's on his picture.
And that's why I brought up the question about that drainage and there not being a culvert. And Mr. Piccone was honest. He admitted he didn't put a culvert. Now, I'm not the permit guy, but I thought that if you're going to block a drainage, you have to put a culvert in it to be permittable.
And once again, I think logic dictates that should be the correct installation or configuration. It's more of a public works question because it is a public right-of-way. But I would say, generally speaking, from my knowledge, I would say it's pretty much common sense, yes, that there would have to be a culvert there. If not, the road itself will begin to drop down and block the ditch. So.
And one more question for Mr. Metcalf. How far does that trailer have to sit off the highway right-of-way to be legal?
That's a zoning question. A setback for a trailer, you have 20 feet from the front of the property lines, 10 from the rear, and 7 from the sides. Mr. Piccone states on his application that he is 16 feet from Ms. Patty Vogt's property for the third trailer, and I think as well as the second trailer, and 10 for the first trailer, which means
One
he's in
trailer
compliance.
real close to the property line, the
And
first
I-
trailer he put in,
Yes, ma'am.
and he put a little porch and a little air conditioning thing. I got no problem with that. But the second trailer, he didn't put it over further. So why did he move the second trailer further over than the first trailer?
Over further to you or over
No, over
further?
further to Mr. Turner.
Because that's his discretion. As long as he does not encroach within a 7-foot setback, he's allowed to place it 25 feet over if he wants to.
Yeah. But I would like somebody from the permit department come and measure that.
Ms. Patty, based on what I'm hearing from the permit department, I can't deny moving on this legislation today. They're giving me every indication that this guy is in compliance.
And why is the caps on the treatment plant on the 4-inch PVC pipe with sheet metal screws through them that you can't open them, that he couldn't open, Mr. Paul couldn't open them? And in the picture it clearly shows the screws through the caps. He didn't even know you had to put chlorine tablets in there. If you get Mr. Paul from the health department to come here, he can tell you what I'm telling you right now.
But she just read out what the health department just stated. So I don't have any choice but call a question, Mr. Chairman.
The question has been called. Mr. H-Com has moved his second. Is there a second for Mr. Audrey Solvent? Seconded by Council Member H-Com. Any questions from the table? Any more questions from the audience? The machine is open. Seven yes, 2 noes, no abstention. It passes. Next, please.
4B, Nicole's Seafood LLC, commercial business in a A-2 zoning district, 36241 Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana. Councilmember Williams.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I would like to apologize to the applicant. I was unaware that y'all were in attendance, and Ms. Rose asked me to defer it because she had a couple of questions.
Okay, let me get a second from
Oh,
Ms.
I'm sorry. I'd like to offer.
Councilmember H-Com, the second. All right, Ms. Williams.
So, Ms. Rose, can you?
I have not spoken to the applicant in this matter. It was told to either the property owner, I don't know who the property owner was speaking to, that a crab business would not be allowed in that zoning district because of processing crabs. And it was told to them that they had to either come to me and place something in writing saying that they were not going to be processing any crabs there. I have not received anything, nor have I spoken to the applicant or the property owner since. So I was not going to have the council vote on something with an illusion that I was under the understanding that this was going to be just a crab business, and then they were going to end up doing a processing plant, which is not allowed.
Can you elaborate on what the intentions are and why haven't y'all responded to her request, or did you not know?
We did not get a request from Miss Meacher.
No, we've been waiting on
We've been
telephone
waiting, and they called us yesterday, and I called the permit office back. They said be here at 1 o'clock. So we come, but all we doing is taking live crabs from the fishermen, putting in a box, shipping it out of the state. We're not processing.
No.
Do not want to process.
No, it's packing live crab. From the commercial fisherman brings it in, we just dip it in ice water, sort it through in boxes, and it's shipped out on plane or 18-wheeler.
From my understanding, she said she need that in writing. That'll take care of the problem. That's all need to be done.
Yes, sir, that would take care of the problem. That way, if for any reason there is any water or any violation that would drain into the ditches or cause flies or something of a processing plant of that nature, then I would be able to send the deputy that goes out for the occupational license to see if they are acting within the reams of the occupational license, which will state that it cannot be a processing plant.
Okay, I'll ask, is there any way that you can get with them and we can revert back to this and vote on it?
Yes.
Can
Like, can they just handwrite it?
Why we just can't approve it predicated on them sending
They
a letter
haven't
to
even
her?
applied for an occupational license.
Because we was told not to apply for the occupation license until we come afford y'all to get approved before we even went over there.
Yeah, from Ms. Avis.
Go apply for it and send her a
And Ms.
letter.
Avis told y'all this,
Yes.
and that's who you
Yes.
advised y'all?
Yeah, I written out the check for the permit and all. She told me don't buy anything till we see we was approved.
We paid for the permit. She said, come to the meeting, get approved before you go waste your money.
Yeah, 'cause it's all
other
writing
way.
on that piece of paper. She copied everything.
Okay, so it seems like there's some kind of miscommunication between what they're being told and what needs to be done.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
So
Could you just please come into the office and then we'll take care of all of that, and if you want to move, you can
You're
move.
good.
We can be there in the morning.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all just get with Demetra to make sure everything gets taken care of that needs to be done.
Item has been deferred.
No, we're going to move on it. I'm going to move on it.
Oh, all right.
I wanted to ask how the crabs were running.
They're crawling, they don't run.
Question has been called. Any questions from the table? Audience hearing none. The question has been called. The machine is open. You're running fast.
Yeah. And all the ones are getting fat.
It passes 9-0.
It was
6A.
good though, man. Been there all day. Didn't cry that much.
Number 5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
Councilman Black.
Yeah, I have two. An ordinance authorizing an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions for Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide the respect thereto. A resolution authorizing special counsel contract to represent the Plaquemines Parish Council to enact the authority provided to the council by the Plaquemines Parish Charter, Section 401B, and commence an investigation into failure to conduct essential services that are expected by and are essential to the quality of life of the constituency of this parish, and to subpoena to testify before this body as authorized by Section 401B of the Plaquemines Parish Charter any employees who may have knowledge of any such acts, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That's all.
Councilman Lepine.
I have one. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Section 17.5-3 and Section 17.5-4 of Chapter 17-5, Article 1, Parks, Recreations, Parish Facilities of Code of Ordinance, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Juneau.
I haven't.
Councilman Roussel.
Yes, I have an ordinance to amend it as amended, readopt ordinance number 08-211, the floodplain management regulations and otherwise provide with respect thereto for Ms. Kiff. I have an ordinance to amend it as amended to readopt section 4 of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended in the comprehensive zoning district map therein adopted by reference and which is paragraph thereto and with reference to application number 2017-240 dated April 25th, 2017. A resolution denying the requested map change filed by Salvador and Carolyn St. Philip from MH zone district to C2 general commercial zoning district for property designated lot J5E Hunt Hero subdivision, Plaquemines Parish, all in accordance with application number 2017-240 dated April 25th, 2017. The first one was to approve it, right? A resolution adopting the Plaquemines Parish Government Hazard Mitigation Assistance Program, procurement policy and procedures as required in the utilization of FEMA HMA funds allocated to the Plaquemines Parish Government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that's all I have at this time.
I have several. An ordinance to amend the 2017 general fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, maintenance, safety, and flood control department, and to authorize the emergency exception to the hiring freeze and currently inactive all vacant positions of the Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 road maintenance fund manpower structure, operating expenditure budget, public right-of-way maintenance department, to authorize an emergency exception to all the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacancy position of Plaquemines Parish government, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 manpower structure, operating expenditure budget, director operation, director administration, director of public service department, and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant position and otherwise, Plaquemines Parish government, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 general fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, drainage, shock department, and authorize the emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant position of the Plaquemines Parish government, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The resolution appointing and replacing members of the Plaquemines Parish Government Civil Service Commission for the position left vacant by Mr. Trevor Smith, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 general fund operating expenditure budget, Legal Service Department, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 operating expenditure budget legal service and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance ordinance authorizing the emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted in all vacant positions of Plaquemine Parish government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing the emergency exception of the hiring freeze currently enacted on vacant position Plaquemine Parish government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all I have, Mr. Burton.
I have three. An ordinance to authorize and direct the parish president for and on behalf of the Plaquemine Parish government to enter to and execute any and all agreements necessary and proper for formal acceptance of the dedication of and granting a servitude for a public road by way of donation from the owner of property through and on over in which the present Wilson Lane located in Section 10, Township 15, South and Range 24, East in Plaquemine Parish and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the parish president, Amos J. Cormier III, or his designee, to begin the application process with Keep Louisiana Beautiful and to get Plaquemine Parish registered as an affiliate program partner and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Smell something burning?
I got one more. A resolution to rescind, annul, and set aside resolution number 16-204, which authorized the parish president to initiate such litigation as necessary to seek reimbursement of parish monies improperly expended and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes, I have three. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of property tract D-2 Alliance Plantation, Plaquemine Parish, Louisiana, into tract D-2A and D-2B, Plaquemine Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plans and plat of survey by Dufresne Survey and Engineering Incorporation, dated April 24, 2017. The owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of Plaquemine Parish without cost to the Plaquemine Parish government or the parish of Plaquemine and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution denying the requested map change filed by Randy Gaucher from A2 Agriculture or Rural Agriculture Zoning District to Mobile Home Zoning District for property designated as Lot 2 of George Lester Lincoln Subdivision, Goosenard Woods, Home Place, Plaquemine Parish, Louisiana, all in accordance with application number 2017-239 dated April 13, 2017. An ordinance to amend and amend it to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemine Parish as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference and which is paraphrased thereto, which reference to application number 2017-239 dated April 13, 2017. That's it for me.
Councilman Ashcombe?
Yes, I have one.
An ordinance authorizing Plaquemine Parish government on behalf of Plaquemine Parish and the Beers Levy District to approve a pipeline right-of-way agreement with Cayenne Pipeline LLC as transferee of an existing natural gas pipeline converted to a liquids pipeline to transport natural gas liquids across parish-owned properties located in sections 15, 16, and 23 in Township 21 South, Range 30 East, and authorizing the parish president to execute the pipeline right-of-way agreement and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Ms. Williams?
I don't have any.
Next item, 2682.
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the donation of River Chase Properties LLC to the Plaquemine Parish government of a servitude over, across, and under a certain tract of land located in Square 56 of town site of Belle Chase in Township 14 South, Range 25 East, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Gino?
Yes, as read.
I second. Question from the table? Audience, sheet is open. We'll move to 7A1 at the request of Councilman Juno.
I'd like to offer a resolution for suspension, and I'm going to hand out some copies.
A resolution authorizing Plaquemines Parish government to enter into a new lease agreement with Equiland, Inc. for ferry operations in Belle Chase, Louisiana, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Juno's offers. I second. For the suspension.
All right, now we got to vote again.
Yeah.
I'll offer.
Wait, well, hold on.
Okay.
Any questions from the table? The machine is open on the suspension.
All right, I forgot.
The suspension has been approved 9-0.
A resolution authorizing Plaquemines Parish government to enter into a new lease agreement with Equiland, Inc. for ferry operations in Belle Chase, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer.
Second. Questions from the table?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm just looking into this. Give me a minute to read it because it's the first time I'm seeing it, and it has something to do with the port.
Yeah, do we know the terms of what this will be?
LV? That's the only way we can cross the ferry.
Yeah, how much?
Yeah, there should be a draft agreement attached or for your review of the lease.
Yes.
Okay. The terms are going to be almost identical to what we're doing now, except that the lease will change from, I think, $17,000 something a year to $25,000 a year. And the primary term will be 2 years for a reconduction of 10 years, which is a little different than the current one. This has to be done for us to make that purchase of a track that was part of this leased property from Equiland. And it's all associated with acquisitions we're making for the Avenue F project, the drainage improvement project at Main Street. It's also making an interconnect or a connection with the water treatment plant so we can be in compliance on discharging product or effluents. And I've been before the council before with respect to those purchases which have been approved, and this just allows us to go forward with the lease. The lease and the acquisition of the Equiland tract that this is part of will occur simultaneously at the same time. There'll be a closing. We've got title insurance that's been approved on the Equiland tract, so we're ready to go. Once I get the authorization from the council, we'll close on this, and the port pays half of the lease, half of the monthly lease in this connection.
Russo?
Yeah, 25,000 a year is what I wanted to know.
There'll be some minor changes in the lease term itself, which I will have before you when we finish the product. I mean, essentially, it'll be no major changes, just some corrections in the term of the, I mean, not the term, but the names in the lease.
Councilman Ashcombe?
Yes, Mr. Elvey, does this have to be done today?
Yeah, the sooner it's done, the quicker we can close and make the purchase, because the engineering department needs to proceed with awarding a contract on this particular project so they can go forward and build it out. This thing has been on the books for a number of years, and we've finally been able to acquire the necessary properties to enable us to go forward with this system that gets the pipeline from the water plant and from the new pump station, drainage pump station, to the river. So yeah, the sooner the better. If we get the resolution approved today with the administration signing off, we can probably close on this deal next week because the title insurance company says they're ready.
Councilman Black?
I have something as well.
For clarification, after looking at the map, this is not the property where the ferry is exactly. It's the property where the port.
No, it's right now the current lease covers that entirety. The port shares a portion of that leased property, and they pay half the rent.
Well, I guess I'm looking at the red line that's outlined on here,
Okay, I don't have that in front of me.
and that doesn't cover Avenue G and the ferry ramp. So I'm wondering, is there going to be another lease come to us?
No.
Well, this red line outlines where the ferry is stored.
If I can see it, because I don't have it attached to mine.
That's on your flip to the page.
Right. What about the old area for the ferry? That's going to be under a separate lease? For $25,000 a year? They just don't show it on the map, though. All right, I'll take your word for it. But if you come back.
The agreement reflects that. I mean, that was attached as part of the exhibit. No, the draft. But no, the resolution is actually authority. I attached the lease agreement so you would have, you see it, and I thought it was distributed to you.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're adopting, the lease will be for Avenue G, where the ferry ramp is, all the way over to where we store the boats.
No, it'll be minus that portion that's shown that's going to be sold by Equiland. So the lease will be smaller than it currently is.
And we're paying more money.
Yes, because the new appraisal on that property reflected, was supported by property values that had gone up, and that's the arrangement that we agreed to make with the owners of Equiland.
So what is the cost of expropriation as opposed to?
We could not expropriate.
You can't?
That's
Okay.
the issue. This was grant money, and that was the entire issue. We had no stroke.
Okay.
Nicole, we couldn't expropriate because, like you said, it was grant. If we would have tried to expropriate, then they would have took the grant away.
Right.
Are we in negotiations to buy the ferry ramp property?
No. We're going to buy that portion that's
In red?
shown on that map, yes, for the grant. That's where that pipeline discharge is going to go across.
I'm not going to hold it up because it's late in the afternoon, but it's not making clear to me if the outline in red is a new lease, the old lease, we're going to have two leases then.
No. The old lease will be terminated at the same time we close. It's just on a month-to-month.
And so what are we going to pay for the ferry ramp?
What we're going to pay for the new lease will be $25,000 a month. That will be shared by the parish and the port.
A year.
A year. I'm sorry. If I said a month, I was wrong. I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been a long day.
Right.
You guys beat me up once. I've been beat up.
Well,
Go ahead, Council.
You know, for what Mr. Russo was referring to earlier, you're saying the new lease is just going to encompass the red.
Correct.
So the ferry ramp is over here.
The ferry ramp is over there, but does not have anything to do with the ferry operations that are used the new lease area along with the port. The port is at the end of that segment. The current operations, not by the ferry landing, but where they keep their offices and the extra ferry or the old ferry, they're in that, they will be covered by the new lease.
The ferry ramp will be covered by the new lease.
Not the ramp, no. I mean,
That's a separate entity.
it's the ramp, I'm assuming you're talking about the current ferry ramp that crosses across where the ferry connects.
Right.
That's got nothing to do with this deal.
so we're going to have two leases out there.
That's what the
Well, I don't know what you got for the ferry ramp. I mean, this is not part of the deal. Part of the deal is a portion of the existing lease, okay?
Right.
No, I mean, we've already, The deal is we're purchasing a portion of the existing lease from Equiland.
All that's in red.
Yes.
No. What's in red will be the new lease. We're purchasing the other portion for the drainage pipeline.
How wide is, what are we purchasing? How wide is that?
I don't. It's shown on the map. I don't have the map in front of me, but the entire area, the entire area will be affected and will be damaged. As a consequence, we're paying $125,000 for that piece, which is we've already discussed this. I mean, this has already been approved.
Let me explain.
If it was all done, we wouldn't be suspending the rules.
Beg your pardon?
Let me explain why this is being done. The drain that's coming out by the water plant that's on Main Street, if we don't get this fixed, they're going to charge us $25,000 a day fine if we don't take this water and dump it into the river. And this is why we got to buy this property. And the people that own this property know that we need it, and this is where we're at. They got us jammed, and we got to buy it.
All right,
So-
and the tract that we're going to acquire is the one at 0.633 acres, and that it's shown on the map, the pipeline discharge area. What happens is that whole piece becomes in effect unusable because in effect they've got no access to that. That pipeline will go there, and it will cut off access to that tract. So we're paying for the entire 0.633 acres at the appraised value, $125,000. And you've already authorized that.
Councilman Juneau, ready?
Yes, sir.
Machine is open. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you got that on the back. Hey, this directed to the president. Could you elaborate to the public about this lease? Because this is, you're going from 17 to 25, but we all know about this lease. We all beat around the bush. We all know what the deal is with this lease. Let's put it all on the table, man.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. I think Councilman Juneau said it best. The property owner has us, if you look at where the cement levees were set and placed and where the alignments were, this was, they knew what they were doing.
I don't think we have a choice in this, man, the way to discharge in the Mississippi the way it's already been developed. The site and everything with the levee has been already done. The hole has been already allocated in the wall for us to do this.
That's correct, and they're ready. The engineering department is ready to go forward. We finally got the permit from the Corps that allows this pipeline to go across that particular area. And it pipeline damages the entire area, and so as a consequence, it becomes an uneconomic remnant. We think we can recover most of this from as part of the grant because of that particular fact.
Thank you. Ready? A question? The question has been called. The machine is open. Passes 9-0.
An ordinance to authorize and direct the parish president for and on behalf of the Plaquemines Parish government to enter into and execute any and all agreements necessary and proper for formal acceptance of the dedication of and granting of servitude for a public road by the owners of property through, on, and over which the present Liverday Lane located in Phoenix subdivision otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I offer.
I'll second.
Questions from the table? Audience? Machine is open. It passes 7, 1 no, 1 abstention. Next, please. Thank you, council member.
6B, An ordinance to amend the 2017 Boat Harbors and Shipyards Fund operating expenditure budget, Boat Harbors, Point-a-la-Hash Department, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Want to withdraw that, please? I'm sorry.
6C, an ordinance authorizing and directing the parish president to dismiss with prejudice the following matters. 1. Plaquemines Parish Government versus W. Keith Hinckley et al. Docket number 63-277, Division A, 25th Judicial District Court for the Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana. Number 2, Plaquemines Parish Government versus Emmett Burris, Daniel Scott et al. Docket number 63-276, Division A, 25th Judicial District Court for the Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana. Number 3, Plaquemines Parish Government versus Byron Williams et al. Docket number 63-278, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court for the Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana. And number 4, Plaquemines Parish Government versus Daniel Scott Logan Lott et al. Docket number 63-275, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court for the Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana.
I'll offer. Offer and ask for second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Acon.
This is the legislation that's been on the agenda for 3 meetings, and we've come to a crossroad, and I decided to offer this, and we'll probably end up deferring this today, but I'm going to open it up for discussion. I wanted to move on this. Some of my colleagues had some concerns. Some of the attorneys had a few concerns. So I'll open up for discussion. First of all, I'd like to ask the administration where they stand on this and get a comment from them.
With all due respect, Councilmember Lapine, I have to go on the record objecting to this. The carte blanche dismissal is not in the best interest of Plaquemines Parish government.
Would anyone else like to add
Any other comments from the table?
Yeah, I guess my comment would be, so in layman's terms, does that mean that the administration is in support of this litigation, all 4 lawsuits that are currently pending that were filed by the previous administration?
That means that, first, as I stated, I have to object to this. Second of all, I have seen some evidence. Yes.
So the administration, therefore, is in support of this litigation?
Given some of the evidence I've seen, it's in the best interest of the parish to stay the course.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I will defer.
Any other comments from
Okay.
the table?
Anybody else? Anybody
Any
else?
comments? Yes.
From the audience?
Audience?
Hello, everyone. My name is Logan Lott, 108 K Street, Belle Chase, Louisiana. To me, I think enough's enough. I'm a young, very eager entrepreneur who's been chasing a dream since I've been about 5 years old. I wanted to be in a bakery or kitchen my whole life. Okay, my father has worked very hard his whole life. I was very blessed by my parents to bless me with the gift of a property, the gift of equipment, and I was blessed by God with a passion and a gift to bake and stuff like that. If anybody who's ever been in my business knows that all my equipment is it's state of the art, top of the line, all brand new, purchased equipment. It really, really hurts me that I'm losing a ton of my customers who's been with me for years and years over hearsay, over there's no evidence. At least I haven't seen it, and you know, it's just my business may close down because of this, all because of hearsay. You know, and here I am trying to make an honest dollar to raise my 3 children and to just do what's right as an American citizen. And when I keep seeing the things I see on the news and when it's clearly not true or going off of hearsay, it just really hurts. The slander, the defamation, everything. You know, and again, the sooner this gets cleared up, the better. But I mean, if there's evidence, please prove it. But we have receipts, we have everything. So I mean, I don't understand why this keeps getting deferred. Now, again, I'm sorry, I'm very young. I don't really do this. It's my second council meeting ever being attendance to, but it's just a bit confusing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Mr. Black?
No, I appreciate you coming up. It took a lot of courage to do it, and I really feel for you because, like yourself, I haven't seen any evidence either, and I'm a council member, one of the 3 or 4 council members who did not vote to concur with the administration in filing the suits because I couldn't, because I didn't see any evidence. So my question is, or my request is to the administration or to the legal staff is I am formally requesting any and all evidence on all 4 of these lawsuits to be presented to my office before the next court hearing. I think that is something that is appropriate as a council member. I think I'm privy to that information. I've asked for it multiple times. I have not received it. So I am formally asking for all evidence to be provided to my office. Otherwise, I cannot participate in being a party to any of these suits.
Okay.
And just one more thing, sir. How does, again, I guess I know the legalities and everything, this and that, but the longer that this hearsay continues, the longer my business suffers, the longer my kids and wife suffers, because, you know, there's a lot of people in this parish go off of what they hear on the news or what somebody else tells them, not off of facts, unfortunately. You know, and I have to get, you know, legal permission to just to make sure that it's okay, but I would more than happy invite any of you and every one of you guys to come look at my beautiful state-of-the-art kitchen that by far would never be in a state school. There's none of that equipment even belongs in a state school. It's not geared for it. You know, so that's just, y'all have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Logan. And my desire was to move on this legislation
Yes, sir.
today. I strongly support this. I authored it,
Yes, sir.
and I will continue to fight for this.
Yes, sir.
Today, maybe not today.
Yes, sir.
I will defer this item today. I will not be present at the next meeting. I will ask my colleague, Ms. Edgecombe or Mr. Black, to reintroduce this because it will fall off after the next meeting. So this is not the end.
Thank you, sir.
We will be back. And I'll defer this matter today.
Next item, please.
Mr. Bartholomew, yes, I need to make.
Solvent.
I need to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, because of the fact that we've had several council members make a comment toward dismissal, and I don't share their opinion. So I just wanted to go on record and say that I will vote to move forward with the lawsuit. And I say that if the innocence, let you prove your innocence in court. This is how you declare your innocence.
Yes, ma'am. But at the same time, when the attorney doesn't present who, what, when, where, why.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
You've been up. I can't let you come back.
Is my 5 minutes up, sir?
No, 5 minutes. Once you sit and leave, that's it.
Oh, she had asked me a question.
Yeah.
I'm
You
sorry.
asked him a question?
I
No,
thought she
I
did.
did not. I made a comment.
Oh, okay.
Next item, please.
6D, a resolution authorizing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, perfect, execute, and enforce a settlement and compromise agreement in the case of Haley A. Hesney versus Plaquemines Parish Government et al., number 62-472, Division B, 25th Judicial District Court, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer it with the changes that were distributed, and the only changes is on line 7 to delete after government to lease. And it'll read to settle, the above captioned case. And this is a case that we had an executive session of about a month ago, and it settles, and a compromise agreement shall not exceed the amount of $10,000.
Any second by the second? Second by Councilman Juneau. Any questions from the table? Legal? All right. Oh, you did? Congratulations. Hearing no other comments, questions from the audience? Scene is open. Excuse me.
Amazing.
Next, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2017 operating revenue budget firefighting fund ambulances department and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Who's that? Councilman Black?
Offer. Got a second?
Second by Councilman H. Cone.
Yeah, this is just a little bit of housekeeping. This was supposed to be done last week when we raised those rates. That $400,000. This is just to amend the revenue budget and put that $400,000 as a revenue item in the 2017 budget.
Where's the money coming from? All right, that's what I wanted to hear. Anticipate. Anticipation.
Yeah, everything's anticipated
All right,
about
I
revenues.
don't know about that. I don't anticipate on anything no more. Machine is open. Passes 9-0. Next, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2017 manpower structure flood control department and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Juno.
I'll say as it is, and let it go like a light.
Councilman Juno offers. That's second. I'll second. Any questions from the table?
Yeah, where's the funding coming from?
The funding's going to come from the administration when they find out if they can hire 'em.
There's a vacant.
what?
There's a vacancy, and I talked to Ellen. They said that they have a vacancy because they just hired 2 people, but they still have a vacancy, and the price is going to be $13.74, just like anybody else.
Can I ask finance to clarify where's this funding coming from? What's the job level of this position? Is this a vacant funded position and it just needs to be unfroze? Or is this an unfunded? Okay, where's the money coming from to pay it? So this is a funded position that's vacant?
Yep. It was already advertised for in June.
So what is this about?
What was approved?
I don't remember.
This is going to be to clean the ditches.
Well, what?
Right, we get that.
Are we asking for part-time, though? What, if we have funding for full-time?
This is to address just what we spent about a couple hours discussing earlier. This is another person to help out.
No, I understand, but why are we going to go from a full-time position, which vacated and budgeted, to just hire this person part-time? Why don't we hire him full-time if we have the funds available?
Mr. Chairman?
I can address that.
Okay.
And I'll write the name down on a piece of paper as I did the last time. This position is catered to an employee who has retired and cannot work full-time any longer.
Well, I think we need to hire a full-time person.
Well, I'll be glad to write down the name on a piece of paper.
And Mr. Russo, my secretary still has that name that you wrote down.
And was
that
it correct?
person is, yes, you absolutely were correct. And he's hired. You were absolutely correct, and he's hired. He's on the payroll, and he's back checking the flags.
This makes us a sham out of the civil service system.
Yeah, once we finish with the conversation, I'm going to withdraw my second.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the comment. Hold on, there must be some really important stuff to talk about. I was just going to address the president. I'll wait for you, Mr. Barnett. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. So my question is, as the president had mentioned, we did spend a couple hours discussing this. So, like we just talked about, if we really need people to fill these positions, and we got a funded position that's vacant, a full-time position, let's go out and hire somebody full-time that can work 40 hours a week. Why would we go out and hire somebody part-time? The money's there. I mean, I can't vote for this because I think we need to hire, if you want full-time people and it's funded and it's vacant, let's go get a full-time person.
All right, let me explain, if I can. I'm not trying to hire nobody. I want somebody to clean the ditches. This guy is certified. You need a certified person that can operate like a long reach. And certain people cannot do that. And nobody's going to come for $13 to operate that.
Then I would suggest, instead of making it a part-time position, if it's fully funded, change it to an unclassified position and let the parish president appoint him. But don't circumvent the civil service system.
That's right. That's exactly what this is doing, circumventing the civil service.
Because we're talking about, Miss Audrey, cherry picking here.
There you go.
You know?
Very good,
With
Bob.
that,
Well,
with
if
that
you can
said-
give that
Very good.
permission to the president, I'd appreciate it.
With that said, I'll withdraw my second.
Yeah, let's just.
I withdraw.
Next, please.
An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan diversion land project in the Ridge Marsh Creation Tiger Pass project and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
He withdrew his second, so he had to withdraw his ordinance.
This, we're on J, correct?
Yes.
This is a request from the administration that I would request that the administration explain, as I sit here and think about what we've done in the past about defunding a coastal zone position, as important coastal zone is, to create and fund the position, a GIS position that I wrote the name down on the paper and gave to her. We are now back here trying to up the contract for an individual who does expertise in coastal zone management. And I'd like for the administration to explain exactly where we're headed with our coastal zone department.
If I may, Councilmember Russo, may I ask who requested this from the administration?
It comes from, I believe, Mr. Frelish's office.
Okay. I think this is regarding Mr. Brent Dewey's work on the Tiger Pass project, Marsh Creation project.
Right. So, but the broader question is, since we're hiring Mr. Dewey, who is quite capable of doing this expertise and on that project, what is the goal for our department? While we defunded a position some time ago to hire a GIS individual, when I believe and voted against that because the coastal zone position was more important.
This is regarding the Marsh Creation Tiger Pass project is within the same realm. I'm sorry, Ridge and Marsh Creation Tiger Pass project.
So are we going to rely on consultants for our coastal program from now on?
It's different projects. Mr. Dewey, as you stated, is I don't want to put words in your mouth, but knows what he's doing, and he's been helping.
I understand that, and I'm asking, are we going to hire somebody that knows what they're doing in our department, or are we going to dismantle the coastal zone department?
No, we're not dismantling it. There's a need for administration of all these projects. There's a need for expertise on individual specific projects, same as always.
All right. I don't have any other questions.
Any other questions from the table? Audience? Machine is open. Eight, one abstention.
6M, an ordinance to authorize the public sale for restricted use of approximately 609 acres of surplus Plaquemines Parish government lands in Plaquemines Parish and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Russo?
I'll offer it along with Councilman Black.
No offer. A second.
Second by Councilman Burt.
Councilman Black and Burke.
What this does, this allows the Woodlands Conservancy property to be placed into a position of being purchased for future green space for eternity, hopefully. It's
And a
609
question?
acres, yes.
I'm not a proponent of selling parish-owned land. That's me. I can't support that one. Any other comments from the table? Audience?
Then why we got to sell it?
We are selling it because what it does is it furthers the perpetuation of being green space and the restrictions that are put on the property that it has to maintain its green condition and be used as a conservancy piece of property. So it takes it out of the possibility of being developed into subdivisions or industrial areas or commercial areas. It makes it the green space that we've always had for the last 15 years. And that's why we want to move in this direction.
So whoever buys it, it wouldn't be private property?
It'll be in a conservancy position to where it would have to maintain the green space and the woods. Couldn't be developed other than a natural park. And so the reason we do that is because it'll attract investors to be able to help with the trails and those type of things.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll put that.
And we've had appraisals on it, and it'll be approximately, base price would be about $3 million.
Machine is open. If there's no other question, machine is open.
Mr. Bartholomew.
I beg your pardon?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I go back? I've asked Mr. Juneau's permission if I can go back to H. I'd like to offer myself with changes, though.
H, that's Mr. Roussel.
No, Juneau.
H. Oh, I thought you said J. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mr. Juneau. You want to revert back to 6H?
In,
So be it. Let's go.
an ordinance to amend the 2017 Manpower Structure Flood Control Department and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'd like to offer with changes. All right, I think we
You want to offer the changes first before you second it, Ms. Williams? Go ahead. I'll put your changes.
All right, I want to remove lines 5, 6, and 7. I want to change line 15. I'm sorry, keep line 15 as it is. Remove lines 16, 17, and 18, and 19. I'm sorry, keep 19 in section 2. Yeah, just remove 16, 17.
You're correct, because there'll be no section 1 after you...
There'll be a section 1, but there'll be a section 1 and 2. There'll be section 1's going to be... Yeah, 5, 6, and 7 is definitely removed. And then we're going to remove 16, 17, and 18.
Right, so section 1 will be the next...
Yeah, section 1's going to be... It's going to be lines 20 and 21.
What are you trying to accomplish?
Right, so you leave 19 out.
That's going to be, yeah, that'll be section 1, and then section 2 is going to be actually what it says as section 3.
Correct.
You're hiring the same person that...
No, full-time.
Yeah, so
It's already
Rochelle.
open, right?
it's vacant and funded, right?
They're saying that civil service already filled it. I do not have any paperwork.
What are you talking about? Who's they?
Administration says that this position is already filled.
How's it been filled?
Because we introduced it at the first June meeting, this ordinance.
It's filled with a full-time person.
Yes.
Okay,
It was
you already got
advertised by civil service on June 6th, after that meeting, because wasn't the first meeting?
June 8th.
Yeah. So she wouldn't advertise for it, and they have gone through the process and hired somebody.
All right, so why is this being brought to the council's attention?
Because we introduced it before we knew it was being advertised to fill for a full-time position. No one told us to withdraw it or anything, that they had filled it.
Okay.
So you say she... Wait, hold on a second. You say they advertised for this position?
Yes.
Full.
This was I didn't
Did we-
when they withdrew it the
So
first
so
time.
that
They let it go.
so the question is so
As a full-time position.
did this council lift the
Yes.
freeze for that particular position?
On ordinance 1753.
Okay. So subsequent to
For
that,
full-time.
right. So subsequent to that, it was then introduced, presented by the administration.
To change it to a part-time position and to lift the hiring freeze on that part-time position.
But the position's already filled. It's already encumbered.
We didn't know that when the request came in. it
Who the
was
request came in
deleted.
from?
Did we approve a part-time position?
No.
No, it's a full-time position that was already hired through civil service. No, nobody. The request was to do it at the table today by the president, but that didn't happen. So the problem is that the position that we're talking about now has already been filled, right?
With a full-time
With a
position.
full-time position. So now this makes this thing mute.
Well, but so I just want to get to the bottom line of, or get to the backstory of, here we are, Mr. Juneau introduced this, not knowing this because he wasn't informed by the administration. So the council then would be in fault in passing an ordinance to create a part-time position and use that funding that's already been encumbered. So, I mean, you're setting up the council, so when you show these slideshows of the manpower, structure, and everything else, I don't think that's accurate because we don't even realize that we filled this position back in 1753.
I was not aware either that it was filled. We haven't gotten the paperwork on this position yet. It's being filled, but they said it's.
I mean, how many
All
times?
right,
How many times?
Let's move on, please.
No, before.
No, I don't want to move on, sir.
No.
Well, the point is, the chair gonna have to rule on this one way or the other. 'Cause
I know,
now,
well-
But before
this
you-
is not an item of a discussion or any legislation before the table.
No, it's an item of transparency, or lack thereof.
Please, before you move on,
All right, I'll withdraw mine. I mean,
no, before you move on.
yeah, I don't want to move on. I want to keep talking about this.
Yeah, you can as far as I'm concerned, but I think my question is, and I mean, I want to know who's the guy that they hired, or whose buddy is he?
I guess the
I
civil
don't have
service
that
will be here, we know.
information. We don't get the change forms until after everything is processed.
See, Mr. Cormier, this is the problem that I've been having all along. That audience should be filled with department heads. And I've made that request before. We sit here and bump our head and guess and, argue. We should have these department heads at every council meeting, be it whether they have an issue on the agenda or not, that we can go directly to them and hold them accountable.
Yes, ma'am, I
And-
agree.
And Ms. Audrey, I will request Ms. Head of Civil Service to be here next time. But I just have to agree with the chair. This ordinance was withdrawn, and thank you, Councilman Black, for highlighting the error. I thought we jumped through the circus at the start of this meeting.
I didn't highlight the error. I just pointed out the lack of transparency and somebody trying to sneak a position through. I mean, that's all.
Let's move to the next question, please. Next item on the agenda. Next item on the agenda.
Jesus, man.
6O, a resolution establishing the dates, times, and places for a mid-year budget review for the 2017 operating budget and on the 2017 capital improvements budget covering a period of at least 5 years, authorizing the council secretary to place the necessary public notice in the Plaquemines Gazette and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Burt.
I will offer with the fill in the blanks, Mr.
On line 11, please fill in the date of August 7th, 2017 at 9 a.m. in the Belle Chase Public Library.
With those changes, I will offer and ask for a second.
Second by Councilman Ashcombe.
Basically, what this does, this will allow us to have a mid-year budget review, August 7th, 9 a.m.
Questions from the table? Audience, machine is open.
No.
Machine passes, audience passes 9-0. Next, please.
6P, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, solid waste transfer stations project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Burt.
I'll offer and ask for a second.
Second.
Yeah, what this is a $10,000 appropriation that the engineering department has asked for. It's to rehabilitate and get the 3 sites up to DEQ and EPA standards, which would be Bell Chase, Home Place, and the Boothville trash collection sites. The funding source is coming from solid waste and has no impact on the general fund. It's got its own funding source.
Any other questions from the table? Audience? Machine is open. Next item, please. It passes 9-0.
6V, an ordinance to amend the 2017 general fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, Ferries Department, and to authorize an emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions of Plaquemines Parish government and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'll offer with the amendment passing out first, please. So each councilman get a copy of the amendment to the ordinance. Everyone have a copy? Okay, so I offer. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Roussel. Are there any questions from the table? Audience?
Scratched out.
Scratch it out, yeah, scratch it out. All right. Audience? There now.
We're running off-road fuel now.
Machine is open. Just appreciate the vote on this because Point Lodge was shut down twice already because of lack of people working on the weekends. Because we didn't have enough personnel for the decking. Thank you, council members.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
6W, an ordinance to amend the 2017 general fund operating expenditure budget, Coastal Zone Land Department, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Councilman Roussel.
I'd like to offer this for discussion only.
Second for discussion only.
You? This is a request, not a request, but an obligation that is outstanding to Schleffer West for the Western Closure Complex, and we owe them approximately $250,000. We have to decide where we're going to fulfill this obligation. Some of this is from back in 2016 and 2017, and the next payment for 2017 is due, which brings this up to approximately $250,000. So I would like to ask the administration to, I know they've received registered letters on this subject, and in my travels, running into some of the members, they have asked me to help with trying to find when they will get paid, and it's an obligation and a contract that's existing that we need to come up and fulfill. So I'll defer it today, but ask that the administration work on and come up with some type of funding mechanism or recommendation.
If I may, Councilman Roussel, as noted, your funding is controlled by the council. I will note on this that this represents a 19% that was, I think, entered into back in, don't quote me on the year, 2011, thereabouts. But what's most disconcerting to me about it, and I expressed this to Schleffer West, was that this protects Orleans Parish, and it protects Jefferson Parish, and it protects everything from Oakville north in Plaquemines Parish, but it sets Jesuit Bend up to flood and Myrtle Grove. And the fact that we were entered into this, where we've signed up to pay 19% to flood about 70% of our parish, doesn't, nobody could give me a satisfactory answer on that one.
So what is your recommendation, that we abandon the contract?
We'll get together and we can look for a funding source, but I certainly would love to try to investigate that contract again. I've been looking at it because I don't think it's fair to Plaquemines that we pay 19% to further exacerbate our potential flooding.
Well, I'll wait to see what you want to do. If you want to go negotiate it, then I'll defer it and we'll see what happens.
Next item, please.
6X, an ordinance to hire pump operators and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
That been deferred because we don't need those till December, I think. That's when these people are going to be retiring in December. All right, let's bring it back up for consideration. All right, there we go. I offer. Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Seconded by Mr. H. Cone.
Before you have that second, there's a blank on line 10, to where the money's going to come from.
Anybody have any idea of the administration?
Now you just allow finance to leave.
This is something that we have, as I stated last time. Mr. Simpson came. We have 22.
Can we take it from emergency fund then for right now?
Yes, yes. I think that would be appropriate. We're in hurricane season.
I'll offer the blanks through emergency fund.
How much do we have? I mean,
With that, requesting that we take the money from BP when we get it to put it back in.
Well,
If possible. Whatever y'all want to do with it.
I have an issue with hitting the emergency fund. We're in the middle of beginning of hurricane season, and if you say it wasn't needed until December,
Well, that's what I said. I'm not the pump operator.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I remove my second, sir.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? It dies for a lack of a second. There will be no pump. It didn't come up. Next, please. Y'all say somebody need flood. They need water.
7C, update by administration on water compliance projects and loan application. Councilmember Roussel.
Yes, I'd like to just get an update on where we stand with the water compliance projects. I noticed in the Gazette we had the Port Sulphur plan had been written up and exasperated the problem. So where are we with the loan applications and the grant applications and the things that have been working for the last couple of years?
Councilmember Russo, as we reported last time, the council took the step of suspending water rate increases. That has put the loan potentially in jeopardy. Since that time, Tropical Storm Cindy has hit, and we've been working on the levees. But that position was clearly in the last council meeting. This has been on the agenda for a few council meetings in a row. I can't remember the exact number, but that has been the situation. And we entered in. I entered into the record the letters that were sent back when DHH first had concerns. So these concerns are nothing new, and this was going back. I think we could find the exact date in the record, but
I want to just refresh your memory. It's been on here for about a year and a half. So this is an issue that preceded the halting of the water rate increase. We have 2 water rate increases that have already been implemented. The reason that we halted the water rate increase because we're not making any progress. We want to know where do we stand on these applications that have been pending for 2 years or more. Had nothing to do with the water rate increases being halted for the 3rd rate increase. So, I mean, to use that is a lame excuse. I want to know where do we stand, and if you have something in writing that states that because of the halting or the suspension of the 3rd rate increase, that the grants are in jeopardy or the loan is in jeopardy, which are 2 separate issues. As far as the loan's concerned, I don't want to incur any more debt. So I don't care if the loans are in jeopardy. I want to know where we stand with the grants. And I also want to know where we stand with the 40% rate loss of water, which is the real reason we haven't moved forward on getting these things approved. That's the real reason why these things are not approved, because we're losing 40% of the water that we make, and they want to know where it's going.
I don't know where we're going to get the money from.
the last time I met personally in Belchas with I think his name is Mr. Bordelon of USDA. He told me that USDA's goal is for parity in water rates. And he stated, represented to me, that Plaquemines and the study, and again, this study I think predated this council. There was a study that was paid to a consultant to come up with a comparative study of water rates. And it was the recommendation of that study that I think the prior council adopted, and correct me if I'm wrong if it wasn't the prior council, adopted on those rate increases. Mr. Bordelon stated that to me personally, and I can try to get that in writing. As a matter of fact, let me do it that way. I'll request it in writing, if he'll offer an opinion in writing on the matter.
And I would rather you request it in a narrow field of the grant portion. Because again, if the suspension of the water rate increase jeopardizes the loan, I said that a minute ago, it doesn't make any difference to me. I don't know that anybody at the table wants to incur more debt, because we keep hearing about how much debt we inherited when we got here. So why would we want to incur more debt? My goal would be that we take some of the BP money and supplement any grants that we are in line for or we have been applying for. And so I'm more concerned with the grant portion of this project to see where we stand on that, which I don't think are tied to any revenue stream.
And I have to beg to differ. I have some paperwork at the office that Mr. Bordelon brought. I think the grant, for example, with USDA, there's a percentage that they can give grant, and then the rest loan. But I can find that paperwork, or I can get that from Mr. Bordelon, because it's my appreciation. There is a percentage that would be grant, and a percentage would be we have to pay or get a loan to pay for that
I think we're saying the
interest.
same thing. We're saying exactly the same thing, and I'm interested in taking the cash from the BP settlement and putting it towards the grant to accomplish the increase in the capacity of the Belle Chase water plant. So we're saying the same thing. So that's why I want to know where we stand with the grant.
That is a question that I will definitely be getting back to Mr. Bordelon.
Yes, that's you.
Any other comments? Next item, please.
D, District 1 update.
I'm sorry, I thought I said deferred.
No, he never got deferred. Oh, she deferred it?
Yeah, you go deferring E.
F, discussion regarding the building known as the Pumpkin. Councilmember Trufant Salvan.
Yes, some time ago, I mentioned that it was a great interest for me to utilize the Pumpkin as a community center at the Diamond Park. That interest is still there, but for whatever reason, I never followed up. I didn't follow up on it. So, as I've stated before, pre-Katrina, there was a center at Diamond Park. That community center was never replaced. So I feel that I'm due for a community center at that location. So when the Pumpkin was vacated by the previous workers, and currently there's like 3 or 4, I think, narcotic agents with the sheriff department. I had a conversation with Sheriff Turlidge, and I think Mr. Black was in union with that discussion. That he's interested in moving those three folks to a location back at the government complex. So with all that being said, I'm going to ask that Mr. Cormier, along with his legal team, to have a conversation with the sheriff. I'm recommending that he have a conversation again with the sheriff, draw up some legislation that we can acquire the Pumpkin, because as you all know, right now, we are paying $5,000 per month to the Peabody's for use of that orange building right there on Main Street. And if we just relocate that building and that structure down to Diamond, we could save the government a bunch of money. So, again, I'm asking Mr. Cormier, President Cormier, to go ahead and pursue that on my behalf.
I will set up a meeting with the sheriff.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Audience? Next, please.
7H, motion to override the veto of ordinance number 17-67.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Roussel. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Burt.
This is a simple override of the ordinance number 1767, which requires a 2/3 vote to put the BP money in a special account.
Any questions from the table? Audience? Legal?
Majority is required are both spelled out in the charter, and there's absolutely no provision in the charter that provides for allowing for a 6 vote on anything. The short of this is charters have to be determined in light of the very strict language of them, because our Supreme Court has ruled consistently that any charter, document, state constitution has to be looked at and construed within the light of meaning that it's a limitation. It's not a grant of power, but it's a limitation. When you look at that language, therefore what you're trying to do is have an expansive reading and saying there's nothing that prohibits it. But that's not the way the law works. The law works along the lines of it has to be in the charter and granted as a power, and it's not in there. It spells out when you need 2/3 or a 6-person vote to override a veto and to declare a calamity. And even when a calamity is declared, it still says you only need the normal majority vote in that situation. It's only the declaring of the calamity that requires 2/3. So there's absolutely nothing in this charter that authorizes the 6-person vote on anything other than those 2 issues. So I can find nothing that would authorize this ordinance. In fact, I mean, every section from 409 says majority of the council shall constitute a quorum. All ordinances, resolutions, and other actions of the parish council shall require an affirmative vote of a majority of the council, period. So there's nothing that authorizes this. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to show it.
Well,
Councilman Roussel?
I just want to make this comment. You know, I do read the charter the same way you read it, majority vote. And I looked in the dictionary, looked in several of them, and there's no definition that says majority except more than a half. So I believe that this is appropriate, and we already operate underneath the bond indebtedness fund for a 2/3 vote for many, many years, and no one's challenged it. And that bond indebtedness fund has been in place since Hosea Ned was here, which is a late 80s, early 90s, something to that effect. And this is the only time that this has been brought as a challenge to try to make the bar higher for the expenditure of public funds. So I think that this thing could be resolved through a court if we have to do a declaratory judgment or whatever, but I think that should be clarified to let the judge decide if you can't agree with this, that majority means more than half, which I agree, could be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9.
Councilman Black?
No, I totally agree with Mr. Russo's assessment there. And I also would like to ask legal, because I've also read the charter in depth, I see no prohibition of defining exactly what the majority needs to be. As Mr. Russo stated, the majority can be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. It doesn't specify that 5 is the final majority, or 6, 7, 8, or 9. I think it's up to the council to make a determination on what they view as that particular number that needs to be assessed. And there's no prohibition in the charter, to my knowledge, that eliminates the council from.
Personally, I would have to abide by our legal opinion, our legal staff with the opinion that they have presented. They are the lawyers, and they have that opinion, and they interpret the law, and I have to abide by that.
And Mr. Barbie and I have discussed this before, and I think we just have just an honest disagreement. I think that the provisions of the charter with regard to vesting the appropriate authority in the council allows, I think, the council to limit itself. Section 2.19, an ordinance that was passed back in 2008, does very much the same thing. It reads, Plaquemine Parish Council hereby establishes the policy that a 2/3 vote of the parish council with at least 6 members voting affirmatively shall be required in order to remove money from the bond indebtedness fund. So this ordinance that was vetoed is not something unique. It's a reiteration of something that's been in existence for about a decade here in the parish. It is certainly an open question. I don't think it's absolutely clear one way or the other. But I think there are other items where the council has, although there's no express provision with regard to it in the charter, has limited itself. Mr. Lapine brought one up today. He talked about his ordinance dropping off. There's nothing in the Home Rule Charter that says that an ordinance drops off if you don't adopt it by that 3rd meeting. That's a rule that the council has imposed upon its own procedure. And so it seems like that this as well as the existing Section 219, would fall within that ambit of the council limiting its own ability. Now understand, the ordinance imposing the 2/3 vote requirement is in fact an ordinance and could be repealed by mere majority vote. And I think that's probably indicative of why the current Section 2-19 reads the way it does, and it establishes a policy that it is a 2/3 vote to do something that the council considers to be somewhat extraordinary. And it would essentially be the council imposing it upon themselves, and they could unimpose it upon themselves with an ordinance. Again, I think Mr. Barbie and I just have an honest disagreement, and if it's not something that y'all could resolve, then it could be something that would be decided through a declaratory judgment. And I think the difference is that the person making that legal opinion would be a judge, not just a lawyer.
Any comments from the table?
I'd like to make one.
Mr. Burt?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment that I think this ordinance is a good ordinance. It's going to make us a little bit more accountable for the BP money and not just to spend it with a 5-vote council. So this is, like Mr. Roussel said, it's another measure or a little stricter measure in place that would prevent us just from spending the money in all kinds of different ways.
Councilman Lapine?
I also concur with Mr. Burt, and I compliment Mr. Russo. For 2.5 years, me and Mr. Edgecombe have been hammered about how much money we spent over the last 4 years that we were previous council members. So this ordinance mandates that we have 6 votes to remove any money. This doesn't become a slush fund now. And that's my problem. I think we're leaning to that this is an easy fund that we just relate back to the BP oil spill money. And I applaud you, Mr. Russo. I'm voting with you. I voted with you before. Again, this sets up a precedent that says we need 6 to move money, not just 5. 5's a little bit easier. So, yes, I understand it, and I'm glad we're moving toward this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Edgecombe?
Yes, sir. I would have to agree with Mr. Lapine and Councilman McCurt. Mr. Russo, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My thing is, my thing is that you have 5 councilmen from the northern part of the parish anyway, so that's give a disadvantage to the whole process. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yes.
Mr. Corey, it's all about politics, man. Next year, election time, you got about 3 or 4 people sitting on the council. They want to save that money for them. So, look, more power to you. Hey, you can laugh, but hey, there's another motive to this. There's another motive to this, man. There's another motive.
Mr. President,
Here we go. Finally got the mic on. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Mr. Henry. And I have to pose this question to the chairman of the port. We've been told on numerous occasions that there's an $8.5 billion project coming in to this parish. Now, little napkin math there tells you that that would produce sales tax to this parish of about $800 million. So, Mr. Now with that $800 million coming into this parish that you said was coming into this parish, then we're not going to have any money, cash problems. So it's, and we also have the punitive damages money that is a claim that's still outstanding that's coming. So we're moving in the right direction. And after this, 2 hours, this rending of garments and gnashing of teeth this morning over grass cutting, it's to me it's a little hypocritical that we now sit around and we're going to say, oh well, we can't spend any money, we don't want to spend any money, and so again, I didn't say that there's an $8.5 billion plant coming into Plaquemines. That's what's been told to us, and I have to believe it, because I have no reason at this time to doubt it. And with that $800 million in sales tax revenue coming in, we should be just fine and dandy. So I have to agree with you, Mr. Henry. I think this is politics to shut off keep parish government depleted and beat down, so we can have these grass cutting circuses at council meetings and gnash our teeth until there's another election cycle.
Mr. Chair?
any comments from the table, Mr. Russell?
I'd like to close out if there's anybody else.
I just have one more thing, that's all. I just want to reiterate the sentiments of my colleagues that spoke prior to me. This is not my intent to save any money or political means. This is a way to spend this money wisely with the consensus of this council.
Why don't we just move it and do the whole budget whenever appropriation of money goes 6 votes and leave it stay in the budget?
Well, my close.
That's what y'all want to do. We're going to 6 vote everything.
My closing comments are this: that to sit here and talk about all of these hypothetical situations, there's efforts afoot right now to spend money that we haven't even got. You just heard about $800 million in sales tax. Well, first of all, there's nowhere near that much money that's going to come in off of that project, because you don't have sales tax on labor. You don't have sales tax on a lot of things. But, to talk about spending $800 million that haven't even got to the books is one of the reasons why I'd like to see us have this higher standard. We have to be fiscally responsible. The last couple of years you've heard from Mr. Lapine about how they've been getting beat up, Mr. Edgecombe, how they've been getting beat up about all of the money they spent. Well, this is an effort to make the bar a little higher so that that money doesn't get spent so easily. And to be fiscally responsible, is not hypocritical. It's a way of being upfront and having the bar set a little higher. So to talk about, being hypocritical because we want to save money for whatever reason is a joke to me. This is a fiscally responsible move. It is sitting there with 6 votes can easily be appropriated. Now, the next fight will be, do we spend this one-time money that we haven't even got yet on recurring expenses, which I am totally opposed to. And if you need an education on it, just look at the General Administration in the state as it is today for spending one-time money on recurring expenses and where we are today in the state. I mean, it's just a fiscal policy. And if you disagree with it, fine. But to get personal and talk about hypocrites and all of those things, we just disagree on how we handle the money. And as you said earlier, the budget is here. I believe that we ought to be responsible to the public and set the bar higher, and therefore that's why I introduced the legislation. So, thank you.
Any other comments, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Councilman. Just today, and Mr. Henry caught on to it as well, there was a vote in favor of $12.9 million to expend monies that we do not have. So it's how do you reconcile that situation?
I reconcile that situation very easily, Mr. Cormier. You need to tune in as to what's going on. The $12.9 million is in the Corps' bank account. The $12.9 million will be reimbursed to us as we spend it. Now, was I happy about the 12.9? I'm not, because I want your administration to go out and get the donations. So it won't be 12.9. So when you talk about the 12.9, that's a different subject for me, which I'm not happy about. But it's a revenue source that is there. And we have an expenditure, and that's how this budget works. We anticipate the revenue, and we expend the budget. And so it offsets itself. It's a 100% reimbursement program. Just as you anticipate all the gas revenues to come in, we don't have the money there, but yet we appropriate it. It's the same process. It's a budgeting process, and that's why I don't understand you don't understand it.
And I'm glad you brought up about the revenue sources, because as I've stated publicly and as is in the documentation, and that's where we do have a disagreement. You're characterizing a stream of revenue that's going to occur over the next 5 years, about $5 million a year. This year, much more than that. You're characterizing that as a one-time revenue source. Now, what I'm stating is, again, looking at the big picture. You don't just look back to last year or the year before. You look over a 12, 15-year span when you're talking about making budgets. And then you see that oil and gas prices within 5 years are going to be going back up again. And our revenue will go back up again. Just like we went down, it goes up. Oil and gas is a boom-bust cycle. And we're not going to change that here. But that's where we do have a disagreement, because I think that the revenues will be going back up over time, and that this 5-year revenue stream is sufficient for us to provide the services that we discussed, and that we had such a full audience approximately, 7 hours ago.
Right, and with all due respect, I just disagree with you. Somebody's going to win the lottery, too. That doesn't mean that, I should go out and spend the money. Just like oil and gas prices. If we knew what oil and gas prices would be, we'd all go invest in stocks and we'd make a ton of money. But we don't know that. And I believe that we ought to operate fiscally responsible on the conservative side of to what we do know. We stuck our neck out, we put $49.50 a barrel in the budget, and we've been lucky because it's been there. However, it would be 35, we'd be cutting more. So, you deal with the hand you dealt. And if I was a fortune teller, I'd say, yeah, let's roll the dice, or let's pick the numbers and win the lottery. I call the question.
Question and objection to the question. Question been called. Machine is open. Passes 7-2.
Thank you, my colleagues.
There's a request to go back to number 5, introductions of ordinances and resolutions.
Yes, I have 2 added. Need to add an ordinance authorizing emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions in the Plaquemine Parish government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2017 solid waste disposable fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, solid waste District 1 department, and to authorize the emergency exception to the hiring freeze currently enacted on all vacant positions in Plaquemine Parish government, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Next, please.
7J, update on Bell Chase Baseball Quad Complex project. Councilmember Burt.
Yes, I'd just like to get an update from the administration where we're at with the bid bond language, and also just comment that I just spent the last week up in Gulfport at the Gulfport Sports Complex, And I think Mr. Morrell's here to also testify to that. What an awesome park. And as I've said before, we're actually sitting on a gold mine with that facility. There was probably several thousand people at this facility last weekend, and I think we're missing the boat on this. So I'd just like to get an update on this project, and if you can let us know what's going on.
Councilman Burt, we've been going at this so long that both batteries are dead. Both my mic.
My computer died.
I only get 8 hours out of this As Councilman Burt, as stated at a prior meeting, I've spoken to Mr. Ken Dugas about this, spoken to the Recreation Director about this. My idea, and I'd love to hear your ideas, was to, since the quad complex came in over bid, was to just go and bid 3 baseball fields, or two and one. I think a Recreation Director is I think working cutting grass right now, but so he's not here. But I'd also like to hear back at the last parish committee, recreation committee. It was not on the agenda. I'd like for them see if they'd like that idea of going for 3 instead of 2. But it was not on the last recreation committee, so I'd request that if you could get that on that recreation committee.
Got to pass that out.
I'll yield to Mr. Black. I think he's got some comments as well.
Yeah. I respect what you're saying, Mr. President, but with all due respect, you're about 2.5 years behind the curve on that. Myself, Mr. Burt, other council members, the former Director of Recreation, your father as the former parish president, Mr. Dugas, the architects, the Recreation Committee, we've all discussed this at length for 2.5 years. The only issue that remains is the surety bond language, which we've asked multiple times, and that's why it came in over bid, to be corrected. Legal has given me their word that they would correct it, so we can get it back to Mr. Dugas and go out to bid again. I've discussed this with Mr. Dugas, other council members, and the Recreation Director about doing deductive alternates. Like you said, one of them being to reduce the number of fields. It's 2 quadplexes, so it's 2 facilities, 4 fields on each facility. So there's no real need to do just 3 fields. One of the deductive alternates would be to eliminate 1 entire quad. We would 100% have enough money to build 1 full quad, the concession area, and put flat ground down for soccer fields, football fields, whatever, well under bid. What we're hoping to do is rewrite the surety bond language, make 1 deductive alternate to eliminate 1 of the smaller quads, go back out to bid. If it comes in under bid, we'll build both quads with the concession area, parking, etc. If it doesn't come into bid, we can utilize a deductive alternate. We have 1 quad remaining, which is the full-size big quad, the full-size parking area, the flat ground, the full-size concession area, and we would probably have about $2.5 million of Sandy Recovery Initiative Act money that we could utilize either somewhere else or decide to go back out and bid on another part of that quadplex. We've been through this at length. I'm just asking you, please, for the benefit of the kids in this community and our recreation department, to let me, or Mr. Burt, and any other interested council members, to get together with legal and Mr. Dugas, get the surety bond language right, the way it needs to be done. Let us get with the architect and let us get with Mr. Dugas to do a deductive alternate so we can go back out to bid. I think we have a great plan in place. The fields have been designed. Your father was instrumental in helping that design. So I don't know. I don't think we need to go back and forth and have other public hearings or committees or whatever else. That to me has been totally exhausting.
Councilman Black, Peter and I in April gave directive to fix the surety bonds and to change all of the problems that we had been having last year, with not only with the surety bonds but with the delay damages and so on and so forth. We've completely redone the contract. That's actually in place already.
Okay, so Mr. Dugas has that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you please just authorize Mr. Dugas, because every parish employee is scared to talk to council members without getting permission. It seems like just see if he can get with myself and Mr. Burt, so we can get with Bergdahl and Graves to just do the deductive alternate and finalize that. And then if the surety bond language is fine, let's go back out to bid. I mean,
I don't.
Go ahead, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that this facility is for all the children at Plaquemine Parish children that play in sports. So it's just not limited to one area, it's limited to the whole parish that will be utilizing this facility.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just saying make that stated that way.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Burt?
Yes.
If you can only build one quad and you have $2 million left, why not, instead of another quad, why not build a gym?
Well, so let me answer that question. So I was on a committee to actually build the gym before I took office in the council at the YMCA, so I have experience in the cost of a gymnasium. I asked the architect how much would it cost, and we think that we could probably get a gym for about $2.5 to $3 million. So there may be enough money, but the only problem is this. This is where the problem comes in, is that we could use the Sandiac money to do that for a recreation facility. We can't use the Sandiac money for engineering and design. So you're talking about probably 10% is going to be engineering design. The parish would then have to come up with about $250,000, $300,000 to do the engineering design on that facility. So that's where we're at. Believe me, when we first came in, Charlie and I got together and had that discussion, and we said, look, let's eliminate one quad and build a gym. And we went through FEMA, and that's what came back to us, that we're going to have to spend the money ourselves for the engineering design.
Mr. Black, didn't this all came through the previous council, Mr. Gouy and all of them? I think the money was appropriated back there. It was sought through all of those.
Yeah, so they did the application for Sandy Recovery Initiative Act. They got like almost $8 million. They spent about, I don't know, $550-something thousand on engineering design. So that money's already been spent for that. They had a design. When Charlie and I, with some experience in baseball and travel teams, et cetera, and growing up in ball, looked at it with the parish, with Amos Cormier Jr., the former parish president, and said, hey, look, and with Mr. Rick Freeman, said, we don't think the design is adequate. We think we can change the design. The architect changed the design for us at no cost to make it more suitable to USSSA or ASA or different travel programs or local recreation teams, whether it be Dizzy Dean or Dixie Youth. So we made it more appropriate. So originally the former council did do the design and appropriated the funds. We just kind of took over from there and modified it.
Yeah, and I'm saying that based on because I'm all happy for all of the movement toward the quads here in Belle Chase, but I just don't want nobody to lose sight that this parish encompasses more than Belle Chase, and there are going to be issues that I'm going to be bringing forward that going to include the recreation, improving the recreation on the southern end. And I want the same support that I'm going to be giving to Belle Chase area. Even though it's, John just said the parks are going to be for all of the kids, but it still is located in the Belle Chase area, and that's who's going to get the best use of it. So the problem that I'm having is in the past that it was, we was the forgotten country on the southern end. And right now we had recreation facilities, gymnasiums and all of that pre-Katrina. So I want to have the same consideration when I come before this.
You will, but I just do want to add, and I have to be very clear with this, is that not $1 of general fund or PPG money is being used for this project.
And I understand that, but whether it's Sandiac or whomever, that money still could have been used on in another location. So we understand that, but we just want to make sure we're doing apples to apples here. Thank you.
I'm glad we all like to support And sometime I got to call up to get a pass to come on the west side, because we don't have any ferries sometimes. But they took care of that problem today. So I hope in the future that we include the lost city on the east bank of Plaquemine Parish to be a part of this great adventure of creating a state-of-the-art program for our outstanding students or children that we have, and that the East Bank has been neglected so long, so we need that help too, to be, just talk about us every now and then, say, look, we also need to include the east side. I don't have any more other comments. Mr. Rousseau? I'm sorry. Yes, sir, come up.
It's amazing at the amount of money that is spent in other parishes with these facilities. And it's not only USSSA. There's other groups out there. There's a group called Off the Chain that is now at Carrollton. You have kids from this parish that are now traveling to Carrollton. They're not even playing rec ball for Plaquemines anymore. They're not playing travel ball for us. They're playing for Carrollton Playground, because Carrollton has quads. They want to play on quads. That's what the world's coming to. And it's...
Recreation is in such disarray. That's some of the reason. My kid play. I have two granddaughters that play travel ball. Okay, so I understand you're preaching to the choir here, and you're talking to a former athlete. So I don't need you to tell me what to expect. I've been there and I've done that. Okay.
I respect that, but the restaurants in these towns that we go in, you can't even get a table at them. I mean, they're packed. On a Saturday afternoon, you can't get a table at Rocky and Carlos. On Sunday, it's amazing at the money that these parents spend, and they move around, and I just think these quads are sitting there just waiting, and we're missing the boat. Jefferson Parish is about to start their situation. I mean, I just think we need to get on board. I mean, I know you all. Look, I love the kids. I probably spend more time at Cypress Park than I do at my house. My wife probably wants to kick me in the behind right now because I'm here at 8:30 at night. But I saw it on the agenda this morning, and I wanted to speak.
And then,
I mean,
I can sit here and talk to you forever. There's a whole bunch of parents there, and they're there for the wrong reason. They only want to coach their own kids. I mean, I've been there and I've done that. I'm hearing all of these issues out there. They're not there for the kids. They're there for their kids. So that poses a whole nother issue. If we're going to have a recreation, yes, Ms. LaHaye, that's exactly what's going on out there. That's exactly what's going on out there. So I'm not knocking it. I'm a big supporter of sports, but we need to we need to fix it. And everything I've just said is factual.
Oh, I believe you. I think some of that exists, but I don't think that's what's in everybody's heart that's out there.
No, and I agree, but it is existing.
But I mean, this was on the table last year when we were in Gulfport playing. I mean, this money, these quads have been sitting here. It's like, let's get some movement on it. That's all I'm asking. I'd like my kids to play on them. I got 8 and 9-year-old. Will it be built by the time they're able to play? I don't know. I hope it is.
I think recreation need to have their own funding source. And I'm talking about funding source to operate year-round, year in and year out, and not be predicated on what we collect from this place or that place, knowing annually this is what they're going to collect, their budget, to do an effective program. Because if you don't have them funds to do what needs to be done, you can always have second meal, second piece. If we build a quad, it's still the same thing. Once we build a quad, the kids are going to come in. we still need a source of revenues to do a comprehensive recreational program in Plaquemine Parish, bottom line.
Let me know what we need to do.
Thank you for your comments, but did you have to bring out a restaurant? I said, thank you for your comments, but did you have to bring up the restaurant?
Hey, Mr. Burke, you already know what I'm about. You understand? And we had that discussion. We had a discussion down in Point Lehigh. What the event. And the president, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you could build that one quad, and you got 2.5 million left over, I'm sure this conference will come up with $250,000 for engineering and architecture to build a gym. And let's utilize all that money. Let's utilize all the money. But it seems like you guys just want to work on building a baseball quad. You know, I took you at your word. You said, hey, we're going to be able to get this gym. We need a gym in Belshade, man. We really need a gym.
Yeah.
I approached Mr. Black after that council meeting, and we discussed it.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get, hopefully we can get 6 votes to appropriate $250,000 of BB funds. And I hope you're back at that podium when I have that ordinance on the table.
I guarantee you will get that, Mr. Black. I guarantee
All right.
you.
Well, good.
But,
have this much energy when I have that ordinance.
But let's
Thank
do
you.
something collectively, man. Let's just don't put everything on one particular sport when we can utilize sports for all the kids, man. You want to come and do the recreation for all the kids? Come on, let's do some other things for other sports too. We got the money.
We're gonna even
we got
pay.
the money to do
We're gonna
it.
even pay for gas for that District 1 bus to come play at that quadplex.
Well, whatever it is, come on, let's get together and get this gym built along with that quad. You know, it's going to benefit all the people.
7M, discussion regarding District 8, Councilmember Edgecombe.
I'm good. Mr. President, have we made any efforts on the culvert and sinkhole problems in Jesuit Bend Estates with them big holes?
Councilman Edgecombe, I'm on my 4th microphone here. Yeah, let's see, we're at, coming up on 8 hours. That's what sort of confuses me is that there's a lot of things we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I showed you the historical comparisons. It takes, you gotta, like the chairman said, you gotta put the funding into it. And right now,
Well, can we at least make some efforts and shore it up that way kids can't fall in there and get hurt?
believe me, and that's why I'd love
Mr.
you.
Stanley, you looking around, myself can step in one of them and you cannot see me. That's how big these holes are.
Okay.
Jesuit Bend Estates, there's 9 sinkholes, okay? And there's already been a couple kids that accidentally fell in there. And luckily one of the parents was watching when the kid went in there and they got the kid out.
Why don't you, Councilman Edgecombe, I'm going to borrow from
It's the one that I pass
Councilman
out
Black.
the pictures of.
Why
on
don't
the
you, since there seems to be some desire here to hire a contractor to fix something like that, why don't you get us the ordinance, and I'm willing to look at any option. We just need more manpower. So get me the resources and we'll get it done.
I got a comment on that. This goes back about a year ago. I mean, when we talked about work orders and how things are prioritized, to me that is a serious priority. That's just like houses flooding in Jesuit Bend because the drains blocked up. I mean, I don't see why we would deny that request to get it fixed. I mean, that's a priority.
Councilman Byrd, it's not a denial. We have 6 heavy equipment people. Okay, there are 9 districts.
All right, well, let me rebut that then.
And that's why what Councilman Edgecombe was speaking about, I had this conversation with a former councilman from that district, and he had passed ordinances to increase the number of parish employees to cover just specifically the ditches, outfall ditches. So, I mean, it's, 6 people in heavy equipment, nine districts. The math speaks for itself.
So how are things prioritized? I mean, I don't mean to steal your thunder here. But
I'm sorry, Charlie. I just down in Venice, no disrespect to you, Nicole. Y'all fixed 2 main outfall culverts with the same issue by one residence.
Yep, one on each side.
One on each side. All right, it took approximately 420 feet of culvert to fix for one resident. All right, there's 27 houses that back up to the servitude. You know how many people it is? How many kids that is? So we're going to do one and not worry about 27 houses or 70-something people?
With all due respect, Councilman Edgecombe, it's not about not worrying. There are, I believe, 880 requests right now. And like I said, the numbers don't lie. And we all saw the numbers a little while ago. It's not, I mean, believe me, it's not that our parish employees are not working. They're hard-working people.
These are District 8 complaints before the budget cut, sir, that were never even looked at. Right here.
So my question is, and I brought this up a year ago, is sweeping ditches more important than a safety-related item, as in Jesuit Bend? No, I'm just talking in general. But I am talking to you, though, Mr. Wilder.
Okay. We have we ought to order dinner here. When you're, I believe I am familiar with one scenario, and I actually pulled it up on Google Maps, where it was in someone's backyard or near to it. And there you've got issues with right of entry, and you need heavy equipment to fix it. And so the heavy equipment has never been this short of manpower. Never. I've gone back, I've looked at 2000, gone back, I think I even pulled some from the 90s. Never. You go back, and we've been, well, I'm not going to cite off exact numbers, but we've never been this low. I mean, this is a big parish. It's a big parish. So, I mean, to just highlight one complaint out of 880 complaints, I mean, there's 880 complaints. And Councilwoman Williams, it's about getting the fund. You pay for what you get. It's about getting the funding, getting the resources in there. I mean, we've never been this low in heavy equipment. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen that we don't have a safety engineer. I mean, the 2017 budget, again, we can rehash this all over again. I'm not blaming the council for eviscerating manpower going into 2017 budget because we were going to run out of cash. But I am saying that situation's changed. Now, obviously, Councilwoman Williams, you just voted to make it more, ostensibly, to make it more onerous, burdensome, to get money to help. So, I mean, we got to, if it's...
I agree.
880 complaints. The bottom line is there's only so much one person and a small, less than the manpower structure can do. And so if you want to prioritize this, like you stated earlier, get me the resources. Let's rehire some people, or we're using them. We're using them. I showed you the numbers, Council. I mean, let's not live in a bubble here. I mean, we had this, at the start of this thing,
I'm done, Mr. Chair.
At the start of this, we spent 2 hours with the big circus here about the grass cutting. Exactly. To try to make things perceive one way or the other. And the bottom line is District, I don't doubt that District 9 could use more help, and I don't doubt that District 8 could use more help. But help.
Actually, sir,
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
No, I don't have nothing else to say, sir. I'm done.
It takes resources.
Well, we did have a safety engineer, sir, when the complaint was sent in, by the way. And actually, I did send pictures by the government building on the walkway that goes to the permit office, which I tripped over. I sent them to the safety inspector, engineer, whatever you might want to call him, and they said it was fine. When you got a difference of this high because of the concrete being broke, and I think you've seen it, Ms. Audrey, going past the oak tree, it's a safety hazard. But he said it was okay. Luckily, nobody's tripped and hurt.
I just got to ask. I just got one last comment, and I'll yield. My only question is, how is, with your 6 people or 8 people, how is the work allocated? Only question. How is the work allocated?
With 880
I don't want to know about the number of complaints. I want to know if 2 complaints come in today, how are they prioritized?
They're assessing it as best they can. I mean, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I had the same kind of question. Who's prioritizing and making decisions as to what gets done and what doesn't get done? Because I've sat in this meeting and had even the legal department make comments about how certain people are not going to get treated because of their votes, and work requests are not going to be done because of their votes. So who actually makes the decision as to who goes out into the field and does the work request that day?
Follows the chain of command.
So you meet with them every morning and tell the director?
No,
to go
I
do this?
certainly I do not have time to.
Well, where's the
I
chain
do
of
not
command?
have time to,
So
as
where does
parish
the chain of
president, to go
command-
through the 880 requests.
So where does the chain of command start on a daily operation to go assign work?
It would.
Mr. Roussel, I have all your complaints coming. I have all you guys.
I'm not asking that. I know you got my
I'm gonna
complaints.
tell
You got.
guys, wait a minute. When I get the complaints, they go to my superintendent. Whoever's the superintendent, I get each one of them got stacks like that. Now, you're like last week, you sent in about 7 complaints. That I have a good idea why you send them in before the council meeting, but I'll keep that to myself. If it was 880, your name's got to be down on the bottom somewhere. By the time I get to you, I'll be retired, probably.
Is that intentional?
No, Mr. Roussel, and it's not funny.
It isn't funny.
Yeah,
But
it's funny to you, but it ain't funny to me because I'm working my butt off trying to make it work.
Mr. Wallace, all I want to tell you is this. The reason those complaints were sent in, I don't go around looking for complaints. They were sent in because my constituents called those complaints into my office. And so when they called in complaints to my office, we type them up and we send them to your secretary or your administrative assistant into your office and to Mr. Cormier and to everybody in the food chain. And so that's how we send those requests in, based on constituents' complaints, and a lot of times because they call your office and his office and his office, and they're told, call your council member to do the work request. And because you shuffle them to us, we deal with the constituent, and we got to tell them, yes, we'll do the work request for you. I don't know why the department didn't take the work request, but we will do it for you. We send it in, and it goes on the bottom of the stack like you just said. So the point that I've been trying to make for 3 years now, since you've been here, you got here 6 months ago, is that when the 2015 complaints started, and we agreed that we weren't going to look at complaints prior to us coming to office, we were going to look at 2015 complaints. Let's do those and catch up. And if we ran into 2016, so be it. But why do we take the 2016s ahead of the 2015s now? Or the 2017s ahead of the 2015s now? So we got some complaints out there that might be 2 years old, 2.5 years old. So my question originally was, who sets the priority? And I guess you told me that it's the director that sets the priority.
I stated correct. I stated that I do not go through the 880 complaints.
So the director sets the priority. So that tells me a lot.
Mr. Burt? All right, next questions, please. Next item.
District 2 update.
Sorry, hold on. Last question on this item. Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing is. Because Mr. Ford, there's 880 of them. Complaints.
Number 8, approval of minutes from the June 8, 2017 meeting and the July 5, 2017 special meeting.
Meeting has it passes 9-0. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Lepine, second by Mr. Byrd. The meeting is adjourned at 9:03. Yeah, 9.